Welcome to this week's edition of Indigo Living's Leading Ladies series. It brings me great privilege each week to interview incredible women across the globe. They are pushing boundaries, breaking glass ceilings from different fields, from philanthropy, finance, medical, healthcare, and so much more. But today, well, it's a special segment. We get to interview the one and only Dr. Nigma Taleb. You've seen her on the Goop series. She's making headlines all across Hollywood with her signature glow and, of course, her best-selling book. Please welcome Dr. Nigma Taleb. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited you're in Dubai.
I know, I love it here.
Do you love it here?
I do. I think it's an incredible city and so full of culture and, you know, there's such diversity.
So you're from LA, so you appreciate the sun, which is good. The vitamin D is coming in, good. You've had a great few days here.
I have indeed. I mean, it's been amazing. I've met so many wonderful people in the healthcare industry and also in, you know, cosmetics and skincare. And so it's been an incredible journey.
So let's start with your journey because you have made it to the top of the beauty and skincare space. How did your journey start?
You know, Rosemin, as a teenager, I was always interested and fascinated by skin and how, you know, what happens to your skin when you apply topicals on it. And I would always go into my mother's bathroom and put on all her serums or whatever she had. Back in the day, I think they used Nivea cream,
yeah.
Right? And I would always be so interested in, you know, how do these topicals work on the skin? What do we mix together to create, you know, fabulous glowing skin? I used to drink a lot of water when I was a teenager because I knew that was one thing that I noticed a major change in my skin when I drank water. Even as a teenager, noticing different things that you eat and you put on your skin and, you know, things that you consume. So my journey began really young and I had a lot of digestive issues as well. So my father took me to a naturopathic doctor and the naturopathic doctor fixed all my digestive concerns when I had been to so many conventional medical doctors. And I wasn't getting anywhere. And this one naturopathic doctor changed my life. And I said, you know what? This is the type of medicine I want to go into.
That's amazing. And people don't realize how many years it takes to get through that course and that degree.
It's 8 years, including your undergrad. So, and the 4 years that we're in naturopathic school, we have to use most of our summers studying and interning. So it's quite a large number of hours of putting together, similar to medical school, if not even more.
One of the things we always talk about is that beauty is truly inside and out. And as much as I love personally reviewing skincare products and all of that fun stuff, if your gut is not working, doesn't matter how expensive your products are, how pretty that packaging is, beauty comes from inside and out. This is actually your focus. And actually, I think it got you global fame when you started talking about kind of the most unattractive part of the body. It's just like the gut. Why is the gut so important?
Oh gosh, your gut is so incredible. It is, you think about it, Rosemin, it's like one cell in terms of how thin it is. It's paper thin. Right? So it's thin enough that you can absorb nutrients to come in, but it also prevents the toxins from staying out. So it's super important. Anything you do to your gut, if you're eating poorly, you can create, you know, holes in that gut lining. And that's what I call leaky gut. And also if you have those holes and you have overgrowth of bad bacteria, it's going to show up on your skin and it's also going to show up in the immune system because most of our immune system is in your gut.
You know, for me, acne has always been my Achilles heel. So if I'm not sleeping well, not eating well, and of course stress, it shows on my face. And so until I took control of my diet and my sleep and my stress and all these factors, I saw a dramatic change without having any medicine, like hardcore antibiotics or anything. It was just really about taking control of your health.
It's fascinating because these bacteria in your gut, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And they all work together at, you know, they're kind of like different ecosystems within the whole universe of the gut microbiome. And they can cause inflammation if they go, you know, the good bacteria turn bad, kind of like police officers that turn corrupt. That's kind of what happens in the gut. And that can cause inflammation, it can cause joint pain, it can cause skin issues, acne, you name it. So whenever I'm treating a patient, Rosemin, I always start with the gut microbiome.
And one of the other factors is really for people to take ownership of their health, right? If you know your body and you visit Dr. Nigma right away, you can actually prevent so much of diseases and infections and growth that you will take much longer to control.
Absolutely. Naturopathic doctors treat the root cause of illness. So while we're great at, helping with prevention, we actually treat a number of chronic conditions. And those are the individuals that are really left out in healthcare, if you think about it. So it's a lot of people that are left out, they have digestive issues. How many people do you know that have irritable bowel syndrome? Or, every single person out there has had some sort of digestive issue at least once or twice in their life.
Now, this is your book. It's the best-selling book. Can we just highlight some of the celebrities that you've worked on? So Penelope Cruz, right here, the top quote. Gwyneth Paltrow, you were featured on Goop. Kate Bosworth, incredible, gorgeous, glowing skin. This you wrote in London while you were in London in your clinic. Now, you're known for these 4 faces, and it's actually at the back of her book. You have to get this book, by the way. Order it. It's on Amazon. How did you come up with these iconic faces, which are now used all over Instagram? I mean, it's all over. Like, this is you. This is your, you came up with this idea of the gluten face, the dairy face, wine face, and of course, sugar face. How did you come up with this?
After seeing patients for 20 years, you start to learn a lot about what people are eating and how it shows up on their skin. And so a lot of my patients would say, Dr. Nigma, you know what? I am having hormonal imbalances, digestive issues, and I'm aging poorly. And, I discussed with a patient and said, well, you're aging, so you're aging from your digestion. And then in that process, I started to look at the correlation between what they were eating and what their skin looked like. So if they were puffy the next day, they would complain to me and say, Dr. Nigma, my skin is sagging. So then I would say, what is in your diet? And lo and behold, I found the triggers, which were sugar, dairy, gluten, and wine.
And that's how you came up with. So looking at the correlation and then literally seeing it come out on your face.
Right.
And then how are we breaking down the book? Because there is a wealth of knowledge, and you actually go into everything from handling sugar cravings to even makeup and cosmetics, which I thought was really interesting as well.
Yeah, I wanted to do, the book, I'd already written the book before Penguin Random House asked me to write the book. It was so serendipitous, so it was like, yes, I have the book already, I've written it. And I wanted to add in the inside out approach, because a lot of the time we always focus on either the inside or the outside. We have a hard time, putting both together. But if you work on the inside, any treatments you have externally, any skin treatments, using, radio frequency or any kind of serum or mask or cream, it's gonna work 10 times better when you're fixing the inside, because beauty and beautiful skin is an inside job.
That's very true. So this is the book that everyone needs. Now, after London, you make your way across the pond to LA. How was that? What was that decision like to make that? Because you had a very successful practice in the UK.
I did, and it wasn't until Gwyneth Paltrow came to London and she looked me in the eye.
I love that, by the way, just casually. I'm happy you even just used her last name. She could have just been like, and then Gwyneth. Yeah.
Well, she just looked at me and she said, listen, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And it was funny, between her and Kate Bosworth, they were trying to get me to LA for years and years and years. And Gwyneth said, text me when you're on the plane, go get to LA, and I really, she thought it was a great idea that I work closer with Goop, and, I ended up just closing up shop. I was worried about my patients, but I was able to still connect with them via Zoom. And then, I moved to LA, and I had patients already that I was seeing in LA, because I used to travel back and forth for the Golden Globes and the Oscars to treat all the clients that are going to be going on the red carpet. So I just thought, I already have these clients here, and I wanted to slow down practicing as well. So it was a good opportunity to expand my product line into the US market, and also still see patients, but not the way I was seeing them in London.
So now you're in LA, you get to LA, and then you start realizing that you're not finding the products that you need. So the supplements aren't at the quality that you want. The skincare is not at the quality that you want on your patients. And you start developing one by one a system, a skincare regime, and a system of tablets, which I think are brilliant. So beauty in the bottle is a must, probiotics is a must. What do women need from your line?
So, we're looking at women, and I'm measuring lab tests with lots of my female patients, and I'm seeing over and over again thyroid issues. Every single patient over the age of 30, I'm seeing some kind of subclinical hypothyroidism. So just a borderline of underactive thyroid. And it's really interesting because we have lower levels of selenium, zinc, also iodine, and all of these things can impact the way your thyroid functions. Also, your adrenal glands, which are your stress glands. Mm-hmm. So anyone that's going, someone like you that works really hard and, obviously if you don't sleep very well, all of these things will impact your adrenal glands, which will therefore impact the thyroid. So there is a connection with deficiency of nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. 20 years ago, I would never tell a patient to take nutritional supplements in the quantity I'm telling them to take today. Things have changed. We are not able to get all our nutrients from our food, and particularly for women, we have more hormones than men. So we need more support in the area of vitamins, minerals, and botanicals as well.
And let's talk about probiotics, because healthy bacteria and bad bacteria, should everyone be adding probiotics?
That's a really good question. And it's almost like saying, do you want policemen in your gut to combat the bad guys that are sticking around? There isn't one patient that I've measured their gut microbiome and had a perfect result. We all have what we call dysbiosis. So we have overgrowth of candida, we have overgrowth of parasites, bacteria, and they all kind of work together. They're kind of like the bad guys all hang out together and create havoc, kind of like gremlins when you feed them after midnight. And so, that can create all sorts of inflammation in the body. It can affect your skin, your immune function, your hormones. So probiotics work as policemen in the gut, creating an environment where it takes care of the bad bacteria by crowding them out. Also, it helps you absorb your nutrients and also helps you fix leaky gut, as I was talking about earlier, those holes in the gut intestinal mucosa that get caused by toxins that we ingest, antibiotics, all of those kinds of things.
So probiotics is definitely a must for sure. And beauty in the bottle is one of your best sellers as well. Is that something all the women need in their daily routine?
It's just a really good multivitamin that's good for skin and immune function. So I always say to my patients is if you're looking for something to take that has all the nutrients for your thyroid, your hormones, your skin, it's kind of an all-in-one. And then you would need to take an extra B complex if your B vitamins are lower than they should be, which most of us have problems with B vitamins because we're all stressed out. We're all running around, we're all lacking sleep. So, B vitamins are important for that as well.
So vitamins and of course, great skincare. And finally, I don't know if this is a sneak peek, but there is a Kate Bosworth collaboration. If you want Kate Bosworth's skin and Dr. Nigma's skin, I just want to point out this bottle. This is your latest collaboration. Tell me why it's different, because I actually use your serum and your cleanser.
So it's different in the sense that Kate and I would always talk about, serums and what she was looking for in a serum. And I put together this serum for her one day and I said, you know what, I think this serum, you're going to love this serum. And I put it together. I gave her 3 different samples over the last 2 years. And she finally picked the one she loved, and this was the one she loved. And we always joke around and say, wrap yourself in gold. And the serum, funnily enough, ended up turning out to have a gold kind of tinge.
Oh, really?
So it has marine peptides in it, marine collagen. It has triple hyaluronic acid, and it literally brightens the skin. So anyone who has pigmentation issues or uneven skin tone, it naturally really brightens because it has a special brown algae in it, which is really, really unique and really safe for all skin types, and there's no fragrance. So
and you can actually layer it with your first serum.
I do. Well. I use both of them.
That's good. What are some final tips women need to know? I feel like as we're aging in 40s, 50s, 60s, what should we be looking for? What should we be asking our doctors, or as just females, what should we be looking for?
That's a good question. Ask your primary practitioner or your naturopathic doctor. I'm sure the naturopathic doctor will be on top of it. But you always want to get a basic screening, right? You want to look at screening that looks at thyroid. You want to look at areas for homocysteine. Cardiovascular disease is on the rise in women and the silent killer. So it's one of those areas that we think only men get heart disease or anything, those kinds of chronic illnesses. So women really, really need to be doing some preventative screening. Also taking time for themselves. We don't really take care of ourselves because you're mothers, you're entrepreneurs, all of those things. We need to take care of ourselves first. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first and then assist others. So I would say that it's super important for self-care anytime, and including exercise. We were talking about this earlier, that, so important, get exercise, because that's what's going to increase your growth hormone, which is going to help you look younger and feel better.
Oh, that's what we like, looking younger and feeling better. And of course, at Indigo Living, our motto here is living beautifully. What does that mean to you?
Oh, wow. Living beautifully. To me, living beautifully is taking really good care of yourself in terms of nurturing yourself and making sure that you get all the things that you would want somebody you love to get. Because if you can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself, really.
Love that.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, you have to take care of yourself, and you have to be at peace with yourself.
And you'll attract that because it's a mirror. So I've learned that, honestly, it's taken me years to do it because I'm such a nurturer and I'm such a caretaker, but I am learning that, and I'm 50 this year, so it's about time that I learned it.
Now that you just said that, I think everyone's going to be shopping for all of this. No, thank you so much for being in Dubai. We're so excited that we managed to grab a few minutes with you. Thank you for sharing great tips. And of course, this book is available at all the booksellers you can think of. Grab a copy, highlight so much information in here. I always have this next to me because there is so many great references. Thank you, Dr. Nigma Talib.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I love spending time with you. You're a breath of fresh air.
Come back to Dubai. And thank you for watching. For more information on Dr. Nigma Talib, you got to follow her Instagram. And this, of course, head over to her website as well. Not only are her products there, but she'll give you lots of information on how to stay healthy and look beautiful from the inside out. Thank you for watching our latest episode of Leading Ladies, brought to you by Indigo Living. We'll see you next week.